Space gangsters locked up for felony. They fly in the galaxy, public enemy. Space gangsters doing 5-4 immunity. Riding the ship, protecting the community. They going from planet to planet, from ghetto to ghetto. From violence to reinventing the solar system for better.
What's good? I'm Mark Mercado.
And I'm John Abelardo, and we're Munkeebars Cartoons.
And we up on R.I.C.H Radio.
What's up, y'all? It's Big Mike.
What's good? It's your boy Vanezzi.
And we are R.I.C.H Radio, which stands for respect, integrity, confidence, and honesty. That's what it is.
You already know. And we actually have some special guests, but we're in their building. Two people that I actually know very well, people that actually help me earn my stripes in the industry when it comes down to engineering, being able to do what I have to do in this industry and being able to go as far as I have. I definitely have to thank them for this. And it's definitely an honor to be sitting with them today. Definitely got to give it up for Munkeebars Cartoons, Mark Mercado and John Abelardo.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for having us.
Much love, R.I.C.H Radio.
What's up?
You know, honestly, man, this right here is amazing to me because, you know, coming from Tucson, this kind of stuff doesn't really happen there. And I think this is something, too, that'll help guide our youth to look for something a little bit more positive, something they could look at to look forward to in their day-to-day, to help them strive to do other things and get involved with the cliche side of the streets, you know what I mean? And just to kind of start off with that, I want to jump right into it. And we'll start off with Mark. What would you say motivated you to kind of move up and actually get into the industry that you're in now?
Well, for me, I was raised in the west side of California. I was in gangs as a kid, and so for me, I pretty much grew up that way. And so all I knew was the streets. So all I knew was to be hungry, and it was a day-to-day thing. So just every opportunity, I can't even draw a straight line of how anything happened. I just know that, just God just blessed me with some opportunities. And, you took that hood hustle and you flip it in the right direction, and all of a sudden, like, you just can't be stopped, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the mentality behind it, I'm not saying I got this all wrapped up, but I am saying that I'm in the right direction, and I feel really good about it.
What part of the west side you from? What city?
I'm from West LA. I'm from the Four Corners. Like you guys might better know. Like it's Venice, Santa Monica, Culver City, West LA.
All right.
So I'm from West LA. Yeah. We go back since the 50s. It's an old neighborhood.
Okay.
So that's kind of my upbringing.
So what would you say was your turning point? What made you go, you know what, this life's enough for me. It's time for me to actually, dip into the professional side of life. What was your turning point when it came to that?
Well, you know what? The funny thing about it is that it was all music. You know what I mean? Music was like a street outlet and shit. So it's like, we're talking about like being in a garage, you know what I mean? With some turntables. There was nobody making no beats. It was all instrumentals.
Okay.
And, it was like cold nights. You know what I mean? A fucking pop screen made out of a fucking hanging iron and shit on a broomstick.
Yeah.
There wasn't no stage performances. It was backyard performances. It was motherfuckers telling you to get on the mic. And I think that was like the first moment, man, when I, when somebody, kind of introduced me to it, it was kind of like a hood. Back then it was like hood raps were hot.
Okay.
So, I came from like 80s into the 90s when shit was really hot. So, everybody was kind of banging on wax.
That's the era. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
so what type of music were you playing? What was the soundtrack to your life?
It was hood, man. It was Tupac.
Okay.
It was Cube. You know what I mean? It was just a lot of West Coast rap. You know what I mean?
Okay.
As far as the East Coast went, like Run DMC. It was much love. We had Wu-Tang back then, so it was.
That's right.
It was just. It was a good time, man. Music. It was just a really good time because it was like one love across the hood. The hood was shining. Yeah. It was a good time. So I think that really sparked some interest in me that there was just more. You know what I mean? So many times, people set judgment or look down upon you just because where you came from or how you came across, and a lot of people didn't put a lot of belief in that. So the idea of doing something within the hood and then feeling that you're actually doing something that could just explode outside the hood, it was a hell of a dream. You know what I mean? To be in a garage and dream like that wasn't like it was really happening, but shit, when you're at those backyard parties, shit, you know what I mean? It felt like you were fucking in front of thousands of motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
And obviously it worked out for you, man. And I could say just from the experience of knowing you and getting to know you as a person, I have the utmost respect for you as a man and what you've gone through and what you came to be.
Thanks,
You're an inspiration.
I appreciate
honestly.
that, man. Oh, well, me and you, man, we go back, brothers, man.
Yeah, for real.
Cali.
For real.
Cali, all the way to Tucson, man.
So when you got out of college, how did you link up with this studio? Like, what?
It's kind of a crazy story, actually. Shout out to Claudia. She used to work here. I forgot her last name. But she's actually one of the main reasons why I got hired here. So I moved into a place off of Satsuma, which is just a couple streets down from here. And just blindly, I moved in and, just had a little bit of money saved, had some help from my father, and was just trying to hustle my resume every studio I could. So I remember I went to this one studio. I don't even know if it's still open. The big white one down here on Magnolia. You know which one I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. They closed that out.
They closed it out, huh? Well, I went there, and for some reason, they thought I was a video guy.
That's funny.
So I was like, I just wanted to turn in my resume. They let me in, and they had some voiceover actors sitting in there, and it was real nice. And I'm sitting there waiting, and the voiceover actor was like, what you doing? And I was like, I'm just trying to turn in my resume. And he was like, oh. So they finally came and got me, brought me back there. And the guy, he was like an Armenian guy. He was like, yeah, so, what kind of video experience you got? And I said, well, actually, I just wanted to turn in my resume. And he was like, oh. You know what I mean? And he starts looking, and he's like, oh, it looks like you have some drafting in your background. How come you're not doing that anymore? And I said, well, my dream is to be an audio engineer. This is what I want to do. And he said, well, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you won't succeed. You should go back to Tucson and pursue doing drawings with your father.
That's a lot of people's.
Yeah, bro, and it shot me down. I felt defeated for real. Like I was devastated. Yeah. So then I had came here before, and they told me to email my resume. Well, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come back again and play the role of like, I'm gonna press the button on the gate, just where we pressed when we pulled up here today. I pressed the button, and this time when I said I want to turn my resume, Claudia was like, oh, you have to email it. I said, do you have a pen I can borrow to write it down? I don't have a phone on me or a pen. Would you mind? Because I really want to apply. So she actually goes, give me a second. So she actually opens the gate and walks out to me to bring me a pen. And I was dressed up nice and everything. And she was like, wow, you look nice. She's like, you know what? Come inside. So she lets me inside, gives me a tour of the studio. And introduced me to one of the owners of the studio, and I handed him my resume directly. And about 2 weeks later, they called me and they offered me a job, and that's how I got started.
That's awesome. Bam.
Yeah.
Just like that.
That's right.
So short, but also, John, I definitely want to get your backstory, man. This is another person too that actually really taught me a lot. He was my direct mentor coming into the post-production world and actually learning how to do audio when it comes to cartoons and video games. This dude literally taught me so much. Very thankful for him.
Awesome, man.
Explain where you come from, man, and how you got into the game.
Oh, man. Jeez, I started basically, I went to art school. So, went to San Francisco Academy of Art College, studied animation and illustration out there. So I was looking to, be a fine artist basically. Just do graphics and stuff like that. And so I was like way interested in animation. So I was like, I better pursue that because that was something as a kid I was just like hungry for.
That was your dream.
Yeah. Like when I was real little, I wrote I wrote Disney and I said, hey, how do you get into animation? And they sent me something that was really cool. They were like, oh, you got to go to these schools. You got to go to art school. Study it, you know what I mean? And here's a list, and here's all this, step-by-step type thing. So I was like, I'm going to do this. So, after, hindsight, when I went to school, I was like, how am I going to get a job? But luckily, like my senior year, one of my art instructors had called me because she had like a job available for me out here in L.A. So, and she ended up producing a show called The Proud Family for Disney Channel. So, long story short, she was like, you know, John, what do you think about moving to L.A.? And I was like, move to L.A.? What do you mean? And she's like, well, I want you to work for me. I was like, work for you, you know, a job? And she's like, yeah, I want you to work for me on a show that I'm working on right now. And so she remembered me from way back when I was in college, and she said, you know, I want you to work with me. And so that's basically my first job in the industry. And
Here
then,
in L.A.?
Here in L.A., yeah. I was in San Francisco just going to school at the time. And so from that point, the Proud Family ended up mixing here at Salami. And so in a roundabout way, I actually was a client here. I don't know if you remember that, but
No, I remember.
you remember that? I used to be a client.
Yeah.
And so we would come in for mixes. And so basically, I talked to Gary and Joe, and I was like, you know, once our show, you know, quit, you know, the Proud Family was gone, I was like, hey, you guys need any extra help? I was coordinating like post-production at the time for the Proud Family. And so, hey, we need a coordinator for our studio for Salami. So I just jumped on board, and basically the rest is history. I went over to engineering, you know, after that. With Mark's mentorship, you know what I mean? And so built my way up, you know, on the engineering side, you know, and then I met you, you know what I mean? So it was like, it's pretty much like that, those moments in your life where I could have chose differently. I could have gone, you know, I might have an opportunity somewhere else, but I chose to move, and that basically led to where we are now, you know, with Munkeebars and, you know, all of this, so.
And that was the question I had for you guys. So can you guys, well, actually, a question for both of you guys.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through exactly, you know, the cartoon and what exactly, give us a story with that.
Yeah, what's Munkeebars?
Yeah.
What is
Right.
that?
Well, okay, so just fast forwarding from where I left off, as far as that, just kind of gives you the core of where I came from. And then after you hear John's, you know, background, even just going before that, John didn't mention that, you know, he was a military brat. So,
I grew up in
so at the same time, you know, he kind of,
overseas.
so in you know, in a whole different world sense, he kind of went about his own life, just moving around and dealing with his own things. So it's funny how, you know, of how people come together,
Right.
you know. For me, it was, you know, that was my first inspiration to thinking something big. But then I'd say my next big inspiration, which became my main, you know, stepping stone, was having a family. You know, I hooked up with my wife, and you know, we had a baby, and you know, I was pretty much doing, huffing furniture.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like my first job off the streets. But you know, after having a kid, you start getting more hungry, you start getting smarter, you start figuring out, you know, how to get things going. So I went back to school. We did because of the music, because of that cold garage grind, you know what I mean? Shit that like people tell you what the hell are you doing, why are you doing it? It led me to want to go to school for music. And that kind of, you know, after experiencing that, you know, the teachers there kind of broadened my vision and told me if I ever heard of TV and production. And I said, hell no. You know what I mean? I never know I could even attempt to even like try to get a job like that. But thank God, you know, they sent me in the right direction. And after I graduated from school, I was hungry, and I was able to, you know, to hook up the spot like a month after school, man. So as soon as I graduated, I started here, and it's been like beautiful. I mean, we work on shows like Scooby-Doo. I mean, you go way back to like Jackie Chan days, Men in Black, Starship Troopers, the original Spider-Man, a lot of
Boondocks.
Boondocks, the old Looney Tune. I mean, it's been endless.
So
like,
many.
it's been blessing, man, because I never, you know, I mean, I remember the first time I was shocked, like Mark Hamill, like Mr. Luke Skywalker rolled in, you know, inside, you know. So that started us
He's
off.
such a good dude too.
So you advance past these guys' stories, and then and here and what I'm fast forwarding through is relationship, love, and struggle. We ended up in recession. Times were hard. me and him started figuring out how do we reinvent ourselves, and
That's right.
we sat in a car and we told ourselves like, what do we gonna do, you know? And so he was a graduate artist. He wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing. I had a passion to create. Music was in my heart,
Yeah.
and I had already had a run. You know, I had already been blessed to cut a few albums here. You know, thanks to Venezia. I mean, he produced a lot of it and helped mix it. So I had a wonderful career at the same time of doing this in music, but it hit that wall, man. We're like, what are we gonna do next? You know, and
Yeah.
so we hustled, man. We came up with a show idea, and we were able to get one of the top directors, top voiceover talent. We hustled everything from the ground up. People gave us mad love. You know, one of the things is like, I am who I am, he is who he is, and it makes us a very interesting partnership. You know what I mean? Because, like, after hearing our backgrounds, you trip out like, man, how do these guys come together? But just that chemistry between us, you know, after hearing our backgrounds, you kind of get an idea of just who we are and where we came from. And I can't tell you, like, how blessed I am to, as odd as this relationship might sound to people, of just how perfect it actually is, because we've just been able to, you know, to come together and just create something beautiful. You know, and it just comes from two different places. And, you know, with my background, my experience, what I've been through, with his background, his experience, what he's been through, you know, it's been the main focus and the main foundation of what our shows are about. You know, and in doing that, we have the same objective, the same goals, which led to the same inspiration, you know, to us to do this on our own, to give Munkeebars Cartoons birth, you know, to form an entertainment platform, man, that's for all, you know what I mean? Like, one community, one love, and one just big ball of just ambition and drive, and just for everybody to reach into and enjoy, you know?
Yeah, I love
Definitely.
that. And you know what? Right when I was leaving from here back in 2011, you guys had just started this. You guys were formulating the idea back then.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing the animation you were drawing, the characters.
The characters.
I
yeah.
remember you showing me some of the artwork
Was
that you were doing.
for what was that for, like G4 Agents probably?
Yeah.
It's for
I
G4
think, and that
Agents?
was the beginning of, like, Space Gangsters.
Or Space Gangsters too.
Yeah.
So I just started, like, getting back into art, you know, after working post-production and, you know, sound and all that. And I was just gearing up to just, like, draw every day, basically, and draw more for our stuff, for Munkeebars, so that we could finally develop the ideas that were sitting, you know, up here all this time, and to put them on paper. You know, then when we put it on paper, then we can actually have a show that we could produce, direct, create, put out on the airways, you know, and control all on our own, instead of waiting for somebody to say yes or no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just wanted to do
Take
it all.
control, right?
Take control.
And you know what? That creativity, it set us free.
Yeah.
When you talk about being set free, creativity set you free.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Like, even though at that point in time when shit was bad, like, for everybody, recession was rough on everybody.
sure.
Kids,
Yeah.
parents taking kids' jobs, kids can't get jobs. I mean, it was rough on everybody. The time that we spent broke as hell and not having anything, you know, we were working on our shows, and, you know, that says a lot about people that are out there grinding. So we really respect the fact of everybody's hustle and everybody's grind. Right. Because to live in that, you could have nothing to your name, but to be in the element of driving and, you know what I mean, and just going for yours, like, it fills that hunger of not having any food to put in your stomach, man. I don't know, it's just magical that way,
true,
man.
Yeah.
So, but just really quick, I just want to tell you guys, you know, as far as Munkeebars Cartoons, I usually don't expect too many people to ask this question, but Munkeebars, you know, as far as where the name comes from, it's sort of metaphoric for us. Munkeebars kind of goes back to when you're a kid, you know, so kids kind of, to me, when kids get on a Munkeebars, that's kind of like the first time that they kind of look at a goal in a very simple form, right?
Yeah.
You kind of look at that and it seems huge and you're like, can I really cross it? Am I strong enough to do it?
So awesome.
But the beauty about kids is, like, you don't even have that fear, you know what I mean? You just jump right in, right? And what's even better about being a kid is you don't even know how to stop, right? Eventually, you just keep doing it until ultimately you're like, hey, Ma, look, look, I made it.
That's dope,
All right.
man.
So the idea behind it is the end of the monkey bars is our goal. Same way when you look at like a kid, right? Okay. Now, the next step is I remember being a kid and being like, all right, I got to get my attention off that now. I already know where I need to get, but all I could see was that there was one bar that needed to take place, right, before you can get to that goal. So what we did is we created our goals in that same way. Everything's been a check-off list. So everything's been a bar. So the mentality behind it is we decided that once we stepped off and started that Monkey Bars run, it's the same idea, and anybody could relate, is once you start, you don't stop. And you just keep your motion. And you don't let go of one bar until you got a hold of the next, right? And one arm drives the next, right? And you know,
Yes, that's super dope,
and if
bro.
you can, and if you
Love
can
that.
visualize this, and you can like picture yourself like wherever you're at listening to this, whether you want to grab onto a chair, you want to grab onto a piece of metal, whatever you want to touch right now, whatever you can wrap your hand around, that's the way we looked at our goals. That's the way we feel when we grab something, the way you grab that bar. That's how real a dream is. And that is Monkey Bars Cartoons.
I love it, bro.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so
Very, very good explanation. I mean, honestly, how you explain that, bro, I think that's going to be very, very beneficial, not only to youth and kids that are actually trying to figure out what they want to do with their life, but just to those that actually grew up like us, that grew up, you know.
well, that's what this is about, man. It's
In a
just
rough
connecting.
time,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Connecting to the rough, tough. You know, it's like, and at the same time, you know, that being my perspective, and then just what John does. You know, he comes. That's what I love about this, because you know what I mean. He's got this whole art world, this whole fan art thing of. And, you know, between our experiences and our stories and his ability to draw and my ability to write from writing lyrics and stories, it's like
right.
this just came so natural. You know what I
we
mean?
pretty much pick up
You know?
where each other leaves off.
And the
so it creates a complete puzzle.
Yeah, man. I mean, our shows, like, we got
That's super
Space
dope.
Gangsters,
Yeah.
which is a straight freaking sci-fi. But when I say hood, that covers every nationality. We got every type of stereotype you can get right there. So we made it relatable. We made it to where you could see yourself. You know, it's within an alien world, so that pretty much allows us to break all the rules and kind of just, I mean, you know, go full throttle with entertaining. We got Holiday Rehab, which is like a second generation holiday characters. You know, we got Frank Rabbit, which is gambling addict. We got Sonny Cupid, which is the son of Cupid, daughter of Cupid. Sorry, which is like a tranny, a transvestite, the sex addict. So basically, she got caught using her arrows as roofies, so that's how she got in rehab. So, but that gives you an idea of just
Exactly.
that gives you an idea how crazy our shows go. You know what I mean? But we got stuff for kids. You know what I mean? We got G4 Agents. We got spy shows. We got Jack and Bean, which is sort of you know, that whole Cartoon Network-esque world of just madness. That's just based off of the cartoons that we remember, you know, the wackiness of the old days, you know, people, you know, madness. And then, you know, other thing we got going with Munkeebars Cartoons, we wanted to expand. So not only have we messed with cartoons, but we've expanded into bringing the faces behind the work, you know, up front. So we really want people to not only become fans of what it is, you know, of our products, but as well as the people behind it, so you can gravitate towards the message. You know what I mean? You can see where we're coming from, and we feel like that'll kind of segue into the art. You know what I mean? So we're doing live skits. You know, we're bringing in a lot of teenagers, because you know, they got a whole different feel, a whole different sound, whole different humor. So you know, we bringing that in. We bring in products. A lot of our stuff is created, you know, character based, so that there's a lot of connection there. So we've created T-shirts, sandals, backpacks, sweatshirts. We got a shop where you can go buy, you know, pretty much anything that you love. We can personalize stuff with certain sayings from the comics, the cartoons. And then the big one. This is the big one right here. All right, this is the real important one, because this all started with just one idea, and obviously we've grown into shows, and then we've grown into some of these live skits. We've grown into really expanding the idea of marketing Munkeebars Cartoons. But now the beautiful thing that this is growing into is now it's like me and John have always wanted to do stuff for kids. So, it's funny, like, you think about, like, how do you turn a cartoon idea into helping out kids? It's like, because that's kind of people just focusing on drawing and putting some cartoons together and some voices. And I know you creating the content for them, but how do you get kids involved? So what we decided to do is we started, in order to really, pump people through our content, we figured, like, well, if you're not fans of comics, if you're not fans of the cartoons, you're not fans of the live skits, you're not fans of the people behind it, for one reason or another, one thing that becomes one love is art through the eyes of kids. So we're basically holding contests to bring kids into the studio.
That's dope.
I had absolutely no idea that none of this existed. John was a fan, so he wrote a letter to Disney to know. You know what I mean? So it's like none of us really know how all this really takes place. All we just know is that it happens.
And they're able to experience, like,
the
voiceover
so,
aspect of it, everything like that.
So we want to bring kids
That's
into
dope.
the studio. We want to select kids. I'm still very connected to where I come from as far as families and people trying to make it and at the same time people not having a connection to this industry, to even teach their kids that there's more than just picking up a wrench or a screwdriver or building something. Don't get me wrong. That's love right there. That's hard work. That's integrity. That's where I came from. But we want to bring in kids and teach them about art, teach them about how shows are made, teach them about drawing. We want to put kids behind the mic. And then we're talking about ages starting at 8 years old. We want to, like, open up these kids' imaginations.
Yeah, we worked with kids younger than that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I mean. Like, we want to really, like, open this up and just make it something bigger than us.
That's
you know what I
super
mean?
dope.
So.
Well, where can everybody find you? What's the website and what's the social media?
We're at Munkeebars Cartoons. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Yeah, monkeebarscartoons.com. And you can check out our YouTube channel. It's Munkeebars Cartoons. And we're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. What else? Twitter. So, yeah, just check out our channel.
Yeah, check
we're
us
always
out.
looking for subscribers.
Oh yeah, subscribers.
Just started, so,
yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
we just
now.
launched last week. You could check out our videos. You could check out the stuff that we've been going. And here's the cool thing about it. We've been on a run, like, hardcore as far as Munkeebars Cartoons for the last 5 years. We took this last year to really get ourselves together to really launch this thing. So whoever jumps on now, we're at the launch of it. We got a good support from our actor community, our production people community. They really support and lift up people that are actually doing something positive. So so if you roll with us right now, you subscribe, you link up with us, you check out what we got, you'll explore this hustle together with us. You'll be a part of what it is that we're building. You'll be right at the beginning of it. You'll be standing here with us 5 years from now and being like, damn, I was right there. And you'll feel really good about it because this is all just good energy, just
It's a
solid
strong
ass
team.
energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Strong team, too. And
definitely.
is it okay if I ask who the voice director is?
What's that?
The voice director?
Oh yeah. Well, we've been blessed. Colette Centerman
It
helped
was
us
Colette?
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Colette,
I just have to say, Colette, how you doing? I miss you. I miss
Yeah.
working with her. She's amazing. She's an amazing director.
Man, she's a beautiful woman, man. She's
so
helped us
dope.
out with
She's so
everything, man.
dope. She
yeah.
is.
Yeah, she's helped us out with everything. The actors, I mean, we got just a shout out. We got Tara Strong, we got Great Delisle Griffin, we got Fred Tatasciore, we got Kevin Michael Richardson, we got Eric Bauza, we got Carlos Alazraki, we got OG Banks, we got Kate Higgins,
Yeah.
we got Chris Summers, we got Chris Smith. Now, who are these people? A lot of people might not know, and a lot of people might know. Now, who we're talking about is we're talking about Harley Quinn from the Batman movies. We're talking about Wonder Woman. We're talking about Marvin the Martian. We're talking Frank Welker. We're talking about
Megatron.
Scooby Doo. We're talking about Megatron.
Yeah.
We're talking about Curious George. We're talking about the Hulk. These are the people behind, like, all your favorite cartoons, all your favorite shows, all coming to play, all coming to support. Just a couple of guys from a very dark room way in the back of the world, and you know what? And they've helped this man open that door up, man. So much love to that community of people, man.
And much love to them too. I've worked with a lot of these people as well when I was in my career out here, and I'm very thankful and grateful to be able to work with them. And I can actually vouch that they're heavy hitters when it comes to voiceover.
Solid.
Yeah.
Now we are running short on time.
Yeah.
But again, you guys, thank you so much for allowing us to come into your facility.
Absolutely.
And be able to talk to you guys about this amazing thing, Munkeebars, and explaining to us the concept of how this all was put together. And it's just a blessing to be back here. It feels good to be here, and I know we're going to be here more, and we're going to be in touch more, and I really hope we do more business together, man.
Much
honestly.
love, man.
Yeah.
Rich
Yeah.
Radio, man. Like,
Yeah.
much love. I thank you guys for
Appreciate
what you're
it.
doing, man.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
like, on the up and ups, hey, support Rich Radio. I think part of all this happening for all of us is just that full circle. We've got enough people, and as far as enough people goes, just enough independent people to kind of raise us all up together at the same time. You know what I mean? So full circle. You gotta, for all you people out there grinding and hustling, man. Like, don't stop. I mean, I don't care who tells you. The one thing about having a dream is that if you cherish that and you capture that, like, nobody can knock you off, man. And you'll realize, man, as you go through your journey, you're just going to run into more people like that, like Rich Radio. You're going to run into people that are just as hungry as you. And you know what? And then, like, as that ball of energy gets bigger, like, you just can't get stopped, man. So support Munkeebars Cartoons.com, support Rich
Munkeebars
Radio,
Cartoons,
support
Rich
all your
Radio.
local
Yeah,
artists.
we appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot for your support.
Appreciate you too. And
Thank you guys. Much love to you guys, man. Appreciate it.
much love to you guys. Munkeebars.com.
Cartoons.com.
Oh, Munkeebarscartoons.com.
Cartoons.com.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Correction.
correct you, but I'm trying to send nobody the wrong direction.
We have to
you know
say,
what I'm saying?
We have to say it correct. But of course, thank you guys again. And Rich Radio out.
We out.
We out.